You see stars, lots of them, and maybe a faint streak of the Milky Way if you're lucky. Now here's the wild part. What you're seeing, that's just barely scratching the surface. The universe is so big, it makes big sound small. We're talking billions of galaxies. Each galaxy, billions of stars. Many of those stars have planets. Some of those planets might be like Earth. And all of that, just what we can see. Scientists think the universe might be infinite. It just keeps going, forever. So where are we in all this? We're on a planet called Earth, spinning around an average-sized star, the Sun, tucked away in one of the less exciting corners of the Milky Way galaxy, which is just one of the billions. It's like being a single grain of sand on all the beaches on Earth. Actually, scratch that. Less than that. Sounds kind of depressing, right? But here's the twist. In all that space, you're here. Right now. Somehow, in this entire infinite expanse, you exist. Reading this, living your life, making decisions, laughing at memes, crying during Pixar movies, drinking coffee on a Tuesday morning. You might be tiny in the cosmic sense, sure, but you're not meaningless. In fact, maybe the fact that you're here at all makes you kind of amazing. You're a speck in the universe, but you're a speck that can think about the universe. That's kind of a superpower. The present moment is all that exists. Let's get real for a second. Most of us are constantly bouncing between what's next and what went wrong. You're thinking about that email you forgot to send, or the weekend plans, or that awkward thing you said 5 years ago. But pause. Like, really pause. What's actually real? Not tomorrow. It hasn't happened yet. Not yesterday. It's already gone. The only thing that's real, the only thing actually happening, is right now. This breath, this sentence, this moment. Everything else is a memory or an expectation. But this second, it's the only place you ever truly are. And the wild part is, we spend so much time missing it. We're scrolling, stressing, planning, replaying. Meanwhile, life is happening, like right this second, while you read this. It's not about ignoring your goals or pretending the past didn't shape you. It's just that the present is where all the power toss is. It's where you can shift, choose, feel, change, or simply be. The present moment isn't some woo-woo spiritual concept. It's just the truth. This is all we ever actually have. So next time your brain starts spiraling into yesterday's mistakes or tomorrow's to-do list, ask yourself, what's happening right now? Maybe it's quiet, maybe it's chaos, but it's yours. Live there. Do we dream, or are we dreamt? Okay, let's go there. Late night thought style. You ever wake up from a dream that felt too real? Like your brain built a whole world, characters, drama, even weirdly specific furniture, and then poof, gone. Now here's the mind bender. If you can dream up a world that feels real while you sleep, what if you're in a dream right now? Yeah, stay with me. What if your life, your coffee runs, your heartbreaks, your favorite hoodie, your entire identity is just part of someone else's dream? Or maybe something bigger is dreaming all of us into being. Sounds crazy, right? But even physicists and philosophers have played with this idea that maybe consciousness doesn't just have dreams. Maybe it is a dream. That we're not just the ones doing the imagining. We might be the thing being imagined. So what does that mean? Are we just floating in some cosmic REM cycle? Maybe. Or maybe it's less about answers and more about wonder. Because either way, whether we're the dreamers or the dreamt, we're here, feeling things, whatever it is, kind of beautiful. Even if we wake up someday. Shbrr, the stoic art of letting go. Let's talk about control, or more specifically, how much we don't have. You can't control what people think of you. You can't force someone to stay. You can't rewind time and unsay that thing you regret. You can't stop the rain or traffic or the fact that your phone always dies at 2%, and that's okay. Because according to the Stoics, those ancient, practical, no-nonsense philosophers, peace doesn't come from controlling everything. It comes from learning to let go of what you can't control and focusing on what you can. You can't control the waves, but you can learn to surf. You can't control the wind, but you can adjust your sail. It's not passiveness. It's powerful acceptance. It's saying, this isn't up to me, but how I respond is. Letting go isn't giving up. It's choosing not to carry what isn't yours. It's dropping the mental baggage that was never helping you in the first place. That friend who ghosted you. That job you didn't get. That version of yourself you thought you'd be by now. Let it go. Not with bitterness, but with clarity. Not because you don't care, but because holding on hurts more than releasing does. The Stoics knew freedom isn't found in gripping, it's found in asterisk releasing. And the second you stop trying to control the uncontrollable, you get your life back. Shapar, the eternal recurrence. What if you had to live this exact life forever? Imagine this. One night, you're alone with your thoughts. Everything's quiet. No notifications, no emails, no distractions. Then a voice whispers to you, everything you've ever lived, every high, every heartbreak, every awkward moment, every random Tuesday, you will live it again, exactly the same, not once, but forever, over and over, eternally. That's the core of the eternal recurrence. A thought experiment dropped on the world by philosopher Friedrich Nietzsche. And it's not about time travel or reincarnation. It's about how you're living your life right now. Wait, so what is eternal recurrence? It's the idea that time is a flat circle, that instead of life being a straight line with a beginning and end, it loops. And if that loop is real, if you had to live this same exact life again and again, how would that change the way you're living it now? Would you still complain about Mondays? Would you still stay in that relationship, job mindset that drains you? Would you finally start painting, apologize, take the trip, say, I love you first? It's a challenge, a spiritual gut check, not in a preachy way, but in a how awake are you really kind of way. Why does it matter? Because you don't have to believe time is actually looping to get the message. Nietzsche's point was this: if you wouldn't want to live your life again, exactly as it is, maybe it's time to start living differently. It's not about chasing perfection. It's about intention. It's about choosing a life that, even in its messiness, you'd be proud to live again. It's asking yourself, am I showing up how I want to show up? Am I making choices from fear or from freedom? If this moment lasts forever, how do I want to spend it? So, what do you do with that? You zoom out. You stop sleepwalking through your days. You quit waiting for someday to start living like it matters. You become the kind of person who, if this is it, and it happens again and again, could look that loop in the eye and say, all right, let's do it again. Darsha, the illusion of the self. Are you really you? Let's start with something simple. You say, I'm me. Okay, but who is that exactly? Your name, that was given to you. Your body, it's constantly changing. Cells die, skin renews, hair grows. Your memories, they fade, warp, and sometimes straight up lie. Your personality, even that shifts. You're not the same person you were at 16, right? So, what exactly is this self we keep talking about? What do we mean by illusion? When we say the self is an illusion, we don't mean you're a ghost or a glitch in the matrix. We mean that the solid, unchanging, permanent you that you feel like you are doesn't really exist in the way you think it does. It's more like a story your brain is telling, a mental construct, a bundle of thoughts, emotions, memories, and habits tied up with a name and a narrative. And that story, it's constantly being edited by culture, experience, social media, trauma, growth, sleep, or lack of it, caffeine, everything. What science and philosophy, neuroscience, has never found a central self in the brain. No control room, no little you behind your eyes calling the shots. Just networks firing, experiences flowing, choices rising up from somewhere, then rationalized afterward. Buddhism has been saying this for 2,500 plus years. The self is impermanent, fluid, and made up of parts. There's no fixed I, just sensations and awareness, like a river that never stays the same. Modern psychology backs it up too. The idea of the self as a consistent, unified identity. Super shaky. We're more like a collection of selves, different modes, roles, and masks we switch between without even realizing. So, if the self is an illusion, then what? It doesn't mean nothing matters. It doesn't mean you're not real. It means, maybe, you're freer than you think. You're not locked into being the anxious one, or the failure, or the people pleaser. Those are just stories, and stories can change. It also means you don't have to take everything so personally. Because if there's no solid self, then maybe there's less to defend, less to prove, and more room to just be. To experience life without all the labels. Here's the wild part. You are the awareness behind the story, the watcher of the thoughts, the space where all of this, body, mind, memory, identity, shows up and moves. And when you stop gripping the idea of me, what's left isn't emptiness. It's freedom. It's peace. It's the wide open, ever-changing, beautiful experience of being, with no name tag required. The absurdity of existence. What happens when we ask the universe for meaning, and it stays silent? Let's face it, being human is weird. We're dropped into this world without a manual. We build lives, make coffee, go to work, fall in love, binge watch shows, pay taxes, worry, laugh, cry. And all the while, we're asking, what's the point of all this? Why are we here? Is there meaning? Or are we just cosmic dust with opinions? And the universe, it doesn't answer. It just keeps expanding, silently. Welcome to the absurd. This is what philosopher Albert Camus called the absurd. The clash between our deep craving for meaning and the indifferent silence of the universe. It's like yelling into the void and getting no echo back. We want purpose, but we live in a world that doesn't hand us one. That tension, that ache, that's the absurdity of existence. So what do we do with that? Camus said we have 3 choices. 1. Denial. Pretend there's a ready-made meaning. Cling to a story, a belief, a system, even if it doesn't quite fit. 2. Despair. Say, if there's no meaning, what's the point? And check out, emotionally, mentally, maybe even physically. 3. Rebellion. Accept the absurd and live anyway. Camus was all about that third option. He said, yes, life is absurd, and that's exactly why it's beautiful. Because in a meaningless universe, you get to create your own meaning. You become the artist of your own life. You write your own story, not because it's handed to you, but because no one else can do it for you. Imagine this. You're standing in a vast, chaotic universe with no script, and you still choose to love, still choose to laugh, still choose to dance, create, give, try. That's not meaningless. That's heroic. It's saying, the universe might not care, but I do. Final thought. Absurdity doesn't have to lead to despair. It can lead to freedom. The freedom to stop waiting for life to mean something and start living like it already does. Because even if the universe is silent, you're not. You're here. And maybe that's enough. Everything is connected. You're not just in the universe, you're woven into it. Take a deep breath. That air you just pulled in, it's been through trees, oceans, animals, people, even stars, literally. The oxygen in your lungs was forged in the heart of a star billions of years ago. You are stardust and soil and story. It sounds poetic, but it's science, it's philosophy, it's life. Zoom out. You're not alone. Not really. The phone you're holding, someone mined the materials, someone designed it, someone shipped it, someone bought it. The shirt you're wearing, threads passed through 1,000 hands before they ever touched your skin. Your thoughts, influenced by books, music, strangers, parents, trauma, joy. Even your mood can shift from someone else's tone in a room. Wild, right? We're so deeply interconnected, it's almost invisible, like fish that don't know they're swimming in water. Nature gets it. Look at a forest. Trees aren't just growing side by side, they communicate. Underground, their roots are connected by mycelium, fungi networks, that pass along nutrients and warnings like some ancient Wi-Fi. Look at birds flying in sync, the way tides respond to the moon, how a butterfly flapping its wings might shift a weather system miles away. This isn't hippie talk, this is reality. Everything affects everything. You matter. What you say, what you do, what you feel, it ripples. Thus, and people, oh, we're wildly connected. You smile at someone, they hold the door open for the next person. That person decides not to yell at their kid. That kid grows up to feel safe. Tiny moment, big shift. Everything you do feeds into something else. Connection doesn't always look like a deep talk or a tight hug. It can be a glance, a tweet, a moment of stillness that grounds the whole room. So what do we do with that? We remember. You're not isolated. You're not too small. You're not separate. You're part of something. Something vast, living, breathing. The way you treat yourself, the way you show up, the way you love, it echoes. And when you feel lost or alone or untethered, look up at the sky, touch a tree, call someone. Remember, this world is made of threads, and you are one of them. Time is a river. You can't step in the same river twice, and you can't live the same moment twice either. Time. We talk about it like it's a thing, something you can spend, save, waste, manage. But what if we stopped thinking about time as a clock on the wall or a number on your iPhone and started seeing it as a river? That's what ancient philosophers, from Heraclitus in Greece to mystics across cultures, have suggested for centuries. Time is a river, a flowing stream, always moving, never still. Let's unpack that. You are in it, not watching it. We often act like time is this invisible separate from time. You're immersed in it, swimming, drifting, sometimes struggling to stay afloat. You're not watching time go by. You are time going by. Your body ages. Your thoughts change. Your memories are a current behind you. Your hopes float out ahead. You're not apart from the flow. You're a part of it. Moments pass like water. Every moment, like water in a river, passes by once. You can't hold on to it. You can't swim upstream and relive your best days. You can try to capture it. Photos, journals, nostalgia. But even that's just a reflection on the surface. This morning, gone. That conversation from 5 years ago. Still echoing in your memory. But it's not retrievable. And tomorrow, it doesn't even exist yet. It's just a bend in the river you haven't seen. There is no pause button, no rewind, no fast forward. Just now. The beauty of flow. A river doesn't rush or stall. It flows. And if time is a river, then part of the art of life is learning to flow with it, not fight it. Letting go of what's behind you. Being present with what's around you. Trusting the unknown stretch ahead. It's hard, right? We want to hold on to youth, to people, to certainty. But rivers aren't meant to be bottled. They're meant to be experienced. 350. So, how do you live in the river? Be present. Because this exact moment will never come again. Not in this way. Not with these people. Not with this version of you. Accept change. Because the river will shift. It's supposed to. Let go. Not in a cold way, but in a trusting way. Like someone putting down a stone they've carried too long. Create ripples. Because everything you say, do, or love sends energy out into the current. You matter, even in the flow. A final thought. If time is a river, you're not just floating, you're alive in it. You get to swim, to splash, to rest on the bank. You don't control the current, but you can choose how you move through it. So next time you're feeling rushed, stuck, or nostalgic, remember, you're not behind. You're not ahead. You're exactly where the river has brought you, and it's still moving forward. Flow with it. The wisdom of not knowing. Sometimes the smartest thing you can say is, I don't know. We live in a world that rewards certainty, quick answers, hot takes, instant replies. Everyone's expected to have a solid opinion, a clear stance, a 5-year plan, a flawless worldview. But what if wisdom isn't about knowing more? What if it's about knowing when to say, I don't know, and that's okay? Not knowing is where it all begins. Think about it. Every discovery, every invention, every breakthrough, every work of art began with someone saying, what is this? Why does this happen? What if we tried something different? Curiosity only shows up when we admit we don't have all the answers. The moment you stop pretending to know is the moment your mind opens. That's not ignorance. That's humility. That's growth. The myth of control. We like to believe we're in control of our lives, our relationships, our futures. But truthfully, we're winging it. No one knows what tomorrow holds. No one knows what someone else is truly feeling. No one, not even scientists, fully understands consciousness, or time, or why we dream. And that's not scary. It's human. We're not robots. We're story-making, question-asking, beautifully confused beings, trying to find meaning in the middle of mystery. Why not knowing is a superpower. When you admit you don't know, you become a better listener. You become more compassionate because you stop judging what you don't understand. You stay flexible, open, teachable. You let go because you're not trapped in needing to solve everything. You're just here, living the question. And honestly, some of the best things in life can't be solved. They can only be felt. Here's the quiet truth. We don't know why we're here. We don't know what happens after we die. We don't even know what will happen next year, next week, or 5 minutes from now. But we can still love. We can still laugh. We can still wonder. And that might be wiser than knowing any answer. Final whisper. You don't have to know everything to be whole. Let the mystery be what it is. Ask your questions. Sit in the uncertainty. Because sometimes not knowing isn't a weakness. It's the beginning of something true. The ship of Theseus. If you replace something piece by piece until none of the original remains, is it still the same thing? Imagine a ship, a famous one. Let's call it Theseus's ship. Over time, its wooden planks start to rot, so they get replaced slowly, one by one. Years pass. Eventually, every single part, every board, every nail, every rope has been swapped out. Now here's the question. Is it still the same ship? Or is it something entirely new? And here's where it gets even weirder. What if someone collected all the original pieces and rebuilt the old ship from those? Now which one is the real ship of Theseus? This isn't just about boats. This is about you. Because whether you realize it or not, you are the ship of Theseus. Your body is constantly regenerating. Your skin cells replace themselves every few weeks. Your bones, rebuilt every 10 years. Even your memories, the stories you tell yourself, shift, stretch, evolve. Emotionally, mentally, spiritually. You're not the same person you were 5 years ago. Maybe not even last week. So ask yourself, are you still you? If nothing about you stays exactly the same, what makes you you? The identity paradox. The ship of Theseus is what philosophers call a paradox of identity over time. It asks, is identity tied to what something is made of? Or is it tied to its function, its story, its name? What do we really mean when we say something is the same? And here's the real twist. Sometimes we change so much that we start wondering, am I still the person I thought I was? 450. So what's the point? This thought experiment isn't just mental gymnastics. It has real emotional depth. Because identity isn't just a thing. It's a process. And in a world where people change careers, switch belief systems, recover from trauma, transition genders, grow out of old patterns, this paradox gets personal. You are allowed to evolve. You are allowed to outgrow your past. You don't need to be made of the original parts to still be real. You don't need to stay the same to stay you. Maybe identity isn't about the pieces. Maybe it's about the continuity, the through line, the choice to still show up. So, who are you? Maybe you're the ship. Maybe you're the journey. Maybe you're the one steering the wheel while everything around you changes. Or maybe you're all of it. An unfolding story with no clear beginning or end. And maybe that's the point. Solipsism's lonely dream. What if you're the only conscious being in existence, and everything else is just part of your dream? Let's pause for a second. The screen you're reading this on, the room around you, the sky outside, the people in your life. How do you know any of it is real? How do you know I'm real? How do you know your friends, your past, your memories, even your own body, are anything more than projections in your mind? Welcome to Solipsism. dream you haven't woken up from? What if it's all just you? Solipsism isn't saying everyone else is fake. It's asking, can you prove, really prove, that anything outside your own consciousness exists? You can't feel someone else's mind. You can't see the world through another's eyes. All you ever directly experience is your own awareness. Everything else comes through your mind. So, what if the barista, the birds, the rush hour traffic, the moon, what if it's all inside your head? This isn't just sci-fi. We flirt with solipsism all the time in culture. Movies like The Truman Show, The Matrix, Inception, Vanilla Sky, all play with the idea of a constructed reality. Even dreams feel real while you're dreaming. So what if you're dreaming right now and you just haven't realized it? Spooky, right? The loneliness of it. Here's where it stops being a thought experiment and starts to sting. If solipsism is true, if you're the only consciousness that exists, then every laugh you've shared, every hug you've held, every act of love you've experienced was just your own mind playing a part. There's something beautiful and tragic about that, because at its core, solipsism isn't about ego. It's about isolation, about wondering if you're truly alone in this vast, flickering dream. But here's the flip side. Maybe we can't disprove solipsism, but maybe we don't need to, because the moment you choose to believe in the reality of others, to treat them with kindness, empathy, love, you build a world that feels real. And maybe, just maybe, connection matters more than certainty. Whether the world is real or a dream, your feelings are real, your choices are real, your longing to belong, to understand, to be understood, that's real, and maybe that's enough. Final thought. Solipsism might be a lonely dream, but maybe the wisest thing you can do is dream it with compassion, to honor the possibility that other minds are just as alive, just as confused, just as wondrous as yours, and if they're not, then let your dream be a kind one anyway, because that in itself is a kind of truth. The trolley problem's ghost. What do you do when every choice causes harm, and there is no clean answer? You're standing by a track. A runaway trolley is speeding toward 5 people. You can pull a lever to switch it to another track, where it will only hit 1 person. Do you pull the lever? That's the classic trolley problem. A thought experiment in moral philosophy. But the ghost of this problem, it doesn't stay in textbooks. It shows up in real life, every day, quietly, in hospitals, in war zones, in classrooms, in your phone. The ugly math of morality. The trolley problem asks, is it more ethical to act and cause harm to one, or to do nothing and allow more harm to happen? Is saving 5 lives worth sacrificing 1? Does the fact that you're choosing the harm make you responsible in a different way? Is inaction more innocent than action, or just a different kind of choice? There's no easy answer, and that's the point, because in real life, you don't get time to philosophize. You get seconds, minutes, pressure, fear. The ghost in real life, the ghost of the trolley, shows up anytime you're forced to choose between bad and worse. No heroes, no perfect outcomes, just impossible trade-offs. Think about it. A doctor deciding who gets the last ICU bed. A CEO laying off 100 employees to save the company, and 1,000 other jobs. A military commander sending troops into danger to protect civilians. A parent choosing between staying in a broken home or equal to 5? What if that one person is a child, a loved one, a stranger? What if you're the one on the track? Once you bring real people into the equation, with names, faces, histories, the numbers stop feeling clean. The psychological toll, the worst part of the trolley ghost, it follows you even after the decision is made. Guilt, doubt, endless replaying in your head. What if I had chosen differently? Did I do the right thing? Or just the least wrong? You can make a necessary choice and still feel crushed by it, and that's very human. So what do we do? Maybe it's not about always finding the right answer. Maybe it's about making decisions with integrity, not ego. Feeling the weight of hard choices and carrying it with humility. Remembering that complexity doesn't mean failure. Sometimes being good isn't about being right. It's about being real, about wrestling with the impossible, and still trying to choose love, compassion, or courage where you can. The final thought. The ghost of the trolley problem walks beside all of us, not to haunt us, but to remind us that morality is not a math test. It's a messy, emotional, heartbreaking, deeply human thing. And in a world of hard choices, how we choose, with care, with thought, with heart, may matter just as much as what we choose. Plato's cave as a lullaby. What if everything you've ever known is just a shadow dancing on a wall? Imagine this. You've lived your whole life in a cave. You're chained so that all you can see is the stone wall in front of you. Behind you, there's a fire. Between the fire and you, people walk past, holding up shapes, objects, figures. You can't see them directly, only their shadows flickering on the wall. And so, to you, the shadows are reality. They're all you've ever seen. Mush. You grow up in the shadows. You give names to the shapes. You recognize patterns. You build stories, rules, even dreams, all based on shadows. And you're not alone. Everyone else around you is doing the same. Shadow watching, shadow talking, shadow life. It's normal. It's safe. It's familiar. Then one day, you wake up. One of the prisoners, maybe you, breaks free, turns around, sees the fire, the objects, the source of the shadows. It's confusing, painful, blinding at first, but curiosity pulls you farther. You walk toward the cave's mouth, and suddenly, for the first time, you see the sun, the world in full color, depth, light, trees, sky, truth. It's overwhelming, but it's real. Why a lullaby? Because so many of us are still in the cave, watching screens, scrolling feeds, accepting half-truths, living in loops we never questioned. And the idea of waking up, it's scary, unsettling, like someone turning on the lights in the middle of your favorite dream. So we stay asleep, not because we're lazy, but because it's comfortable. Plato's cave isn't just a metaphor for ignorance. It's a lullaby for the mind, soothing, familiar, repetitive, telling us, stay here, don't look too hard, don't ask too much, the shadows are enough. But the soul knows deep down, something aches, something whispers, there's more than this wall, there's more than this light, there's more than these shadows. That whisper, it's your soul stirring, getting restless in the dark, beginning to wake up, and once you start to question, you can't unsee. Final whisper, the cave is quiet, the shadows are safe, but the world outside is alive, wild, bright, and full of truth. So if you feel the pull, the unease, the spark, the dream that doesn't quite fit, maybe it's time to turn around, even if it's hard, even if it's slow, even if your eyes need time to adjust. Don't fear the light. You were always meant to see it. Nietzsche's abyss gazes back. Battle not with monsters, lest ye become a monster. And if you gaze long into the abyss also gazes into you. Friedrich Nietzsche, you want to fix the world. You want to fight injustice. You want to confront the broken systems, the lies, the cruelty. So you pick up your sword, your truth, your rage, your fire. You walk into the darkness, ready to take on the monsters. But Nietzsche's warning is chilling and clear. Be careful. The longer you stare into darkness, the more it starts to shape you. The psychology of the abyss. When you focus all your energy on evil, on corruption, on the worst of the world, you start to carry that darkness inside you. You get hardened, paranoid, cynical. You stop trusting people. You start justifying your own cruelty because they deserve it. You begin to look a little like the monster you swore to destroy. It doesn't happen all at once, just little shifts. A bitter comment here, a numb reaction there, a growing appetite for revenge, not justice. The abyss isn't just out there, it's in here too. When good intentions go dark, this is why revolutions get bloody, why movements fracture, why heroes fall. Because if you're not careful, if you don't stay grounded in who you are, the cause can consume you. You start to think, the ends justify the means. They're the enemy, we're the righteous ones. If I don't strike first, they'll win. And just like that, you become the thing you were fighting. 660. So what's the answer? Nietzsche doesn't say, don't look into the abyss. He says, know what it does to you. So, if you're gonna face darkness, build rituals to reconnect with your values. Surround yourself with people who remind you of your humanity. Take breaks, breathe, touch the ground. Create, love, rest, laugh. Because those are rebellions too. You can fight monsters, but you have to stay human while you do. Final thought, the abyss is real. The pain, the injustice, the suffering, it's not imagined. And yes, it needs to be looked at, spoken to, challenged, but never forget. The way you fight matters just as much as what you're fighting. Because the abyss doesn't just show you the world, it shows you yourself. And sometimes, the bravest thing you can do is walk back into the light without losing your soul. The hedonic treadmill. Why happiness always seems one step ahead, no matter how fast you run. You get the raise, you buy the car, you finally move into the dream apartment, you fall in love, you hit the milestone, and for a moment, you feel it. Joy, pride, excitement, satisfaction. But then, it fades, and you're back at it, chasing the next thing, always running, never arriving. What is the hedonic treadmill? It's the idea that humans quickly return to a baseline level of happiness, no matter what happens, good or bad. Win the lottery. You'll feel amazing for a while. Face heartbreak, loss, illness. Devastating, but eventually, you'll stabilize. This emotional reset is wired into us. It's a survival trait, but in today's world, it becomes a trapsa, because now you're stuck chasing upgrades, not out of need, but out of habit. Why it happens. Your brain is built to adapt. That's what kept your ancestors alive. They noticed what was missing, what could be better, what might go wrong. But in a modern world full of dopamine hits, status games, and curated perfection, that same brain becomes a hamster on a wheel, constantly needing more each to feel enough, The trap we don't see. We tell ourselves, I'll be happy when. But when always turns into another if. And the truth is, you don't want what you think you want. You want the feeling you believe it will bring. But that feeling doesn't live in the thing. It lives in you, and your mind keeps editing it out the moment it arrives. So, what can you do? You can't escape the treadmill completely, but you can step off it sometimes. Here's how. Practice presence. Like, really feel your coffee, the breeze, the moment. Gratitude isn't corny. It's a reset button. Watch your wants. Not all of them are yours. Some are just marketing. Celebrate without chasing. Let good things land before moving on. Choose depth over novelty. Long-term joy grows slow and deep. Final thought. You don't have to stop dreaming. You don't have to stop growing. But maybe, just maybe, you can stop sprinting. Yet for happiness, like it's always one more purchase, one more goal, one more day away. Because the hedonic treadmill isn't about running faster, it's about remembering. You're already standing somewhere beautiful. You just forgot to look down. Shh, Descartes' evil demon. What if a powerful deceiver was controlling everything you think is real? Imagine this. There's a supremely clever being, a demon, an architect, an illusionist, whose only job is to trick you, not with scary shadows or jump scares, but with reality itself. It feeds you a perfectly consistent dream. Every sound you hear, every face you see, every fact you believe, all of it, a fabrication, a long, convincing con. The thought experiment. This is René Descartes' mind-bending idea. What if some evil demon of the utmost power and cunning has employed all his energies to deceive me? It's not about horror, it's about doubt. Can you prove that 2 + 2 = 4? Or did the demon program you to think that way? Can you prove that your body exists? Or is that just a sensation being fed to you? Can you trust your senses, your memories, your logic? If this demon is smart enough, you'd never know. Why this matters? Descartes wasn't just being paranoid. He was trying to strip away everything he couldn't be 100% certain about. And he realized the only thing he couldn't doubt was that he was doubting, which led to his famous line, cogito, ergo sum. I think, therefore I am. Even if everything is fake, the fact that you're thinking about it means you must exist, at least as a mind. That was his anchor, his first solid ground. The demon in modern form. We don't talk about evil demons these days, but the idea is still around, just updated, the simulation hypothesis. Are we living in a super advanced computer program? Misinformation and deepfakes. Can you trust what you see online? AI hallucinations. Machines that confidently give you false answers. Phew. Social conditioning. Beliefs you inherited, not chose. In a world this complex and virtual, Descartes' demon feels less like fiction and more like a feature of modern life. What do you do with that? You could spiral, question everything, go full skeptic. But there's another option. Accept that certainty is rare. Focus on clarity instead. Ground yourself in what you can observe, experience, and reason, even if it's not perfect. Be humble about what you know. Stay curious, because maybe the real demon isn't deception. It's the ego that insists it already knows the truth. Final thought. Descartes' demon isn't just a spooky philosophical idea. It's a reminder that truth is something we chase, not something we hold. And in a world full of illusions, digital, emotional, existential, maybe the bravest thing you can say is, I don't know, but I want to find out. That's not weakness, that's awakening. The Boltzmann brain paradox. This one doesn't just bend your mind, it straight up questions the entire framework of what it means to exist. It's science meets existential dread with a sprinkle of cosmic absurdity. Let's break it down wide and human style for a US audience. Part chill thought experiment, part, wait, what even is reality? The Boltzmann brain paradox. What if you're just a brain floating in space, hallucinating everything right now? No, really, not metaphorically, not symbolically. What if your body, your house, your childhood, your entire memory of the world never existed? What if you're just a random blip of consciousness, a brain that popped into existence from the chaos of the universe, fully loaded with fake memories, dreaming a life that never happened? Where this comes from? The idea comes from 19th century physicist Ludwig Boltzmann, who studied entropy, the natural tendency of systems to move from order to disorder. He proposed something wild. In an infinite, chaotic universe, random pockets of order will occasionally appear, purely by chance, usually tiny, but given infinite time, big things could pop up too, even an entire brain. And if that happens, it's way more likely that a lone brain forms than an entire orderly universe like ours. Which leads to a horrifying question. Are you one of those random brains? The odds are against you. Think about it. The universe is 13.8 billion years old, full of chaos, randomness, thermal noise. The odds of you existing the way you think you do are astronomically small. So from a pure probability perspective, it might actually be more likely that your life is just a flicker of thought inside a spontaneously formed brain, like a cosmic glitch, a Boltzmann brain. Why this breaks reality? If this paradox were true, it would destroy the very idea of scientific reasoning. Because science is built on trust. Trust in your senses. Trust in cause and effect. Trust in observation and replication. But if you're just a brain, hallucinating a fake lab, fake equations, fake everything, then none of it is real. Not even the question you're asking. That's why physicists hate this idea. It undermines science itself. It makes truth impossible. So, are you a Boltzmann brain? Probably not. Take a breath. Most physicists argue that for our universe to make sense, and for scientific reasoning to work, Boltzmann brains must be extremely rare or impossible. In fact, many cosmologists design their models of the universe to avoid them, because if they're common, it implies our entire experience of reality is untrustworthy. But even if it's unlikely, the fact that this paradox logically exists is enough to make your brain do somersaults. Final thought. The Boltzmann brain paradox isn't really about whether you're real or not. It's about how fragile our assumptions are, how wild the universe can be, how deep the rabbit hole of consciousness, probability, and reality truly goes. And in a way, it makes your ordinary, grounded life, your coffee, your morning sun, your messy kitchen, feel kind of miraculous. Because maybe the weirdest possibility of all is that you're actually here, alive, embodied, real, and the universe isn't lying to you. Ah, yes. Zhuangzi's butterfly dream. Ancient, poetic, and profoundly unsettling in the softest way. It's not a paradox that screams, it whispers, like a breeze brushing your cheek and asking, "Are you sure you're awake?" Let's explore it slowly and wide for a modern human US audience. Part bedtime story, part existential hug. Zhuangzi's butterfly dream. Once upon a time, I, Zhuangzi, dreamt I was a butterfly, fluttering about, enjoying myself. I did not know that I was Zhuangzi. Then I awoke, and lo, I was Zhuangzi again. But I do not know whether I was then a man dreaming I was a butterfly, or a butterfly dreaming I am now a man. Zhuangzi, 4th century BCE. Zerpsh. The question, what if you're dreaming right now? Not in the Matrix simulation, sci-fi sense, but in the deeply quiet, strangely beautiful sense that this whole life, with its people and problems and routines, is just a flickering image in the mind of something else. What if your true self is still asleep, dreaming you? A gentle disruption. Zhuangzi isn't trying to scare you. He's not pulling a Descartes and doubting the existence of everything. Instead, he's asking, where do you end and the dream begin? Are they separate, or the same thing seen from two angles? Because in the dream, you were real. You felt like the butterfly. You had no idea you were anything else. And when you wake up, you're real again. But what if that too is just another layer? Who's dreaming who? This story doesn't just raise questions about sleep. It points to a deeper mystery. Is consciousness stable, or does it flicker? When you're awake, you know you're you. But so did the butterfly. So does the person in your dream who thought they were late for work. So does the voice in your head when you're deep in thought. So, which one is you? It's not about the answer. Zhuangzi isn't offering a solution. He's offering freedom. The butterfly dream invites you to let go of rigid boundaries between real and unreal. Embrace mystery without needing to solve it. Understand identity as fluid, not fixed. Because maybe you're not one solid thing at all. Maybe you're a process, a wave, a dream within a dream. And maybe that's okay. Final whisper. Whether you're the butterfly or the man, the dreamer or the dream, you are something beautiful in motion. And maybe truth isn't about waking up, but learning to dance in the dream, with full awareness that you're dreaming, not to escape it, but to love it more deeply, knowing it won't last forever.